Have you ever heard people say we only use 10% of our brains? This idea is a popular myth that has persisted for decades. Imagine a powerful computer using only a fraction of its processing power. The 10% brain myth suggests we are all walking around with untapped mental abilities. This myth is often used to sell self-help books and products that promise to unlock hidden brain power. Wouldn't it be amazing to access the other 90% of our brains? We could become geniuses, develop psychic powers, or perform incredible feats of memory and intelligence. While this idea is intriguing, it's simply not true. The reality is far more fascinating and complex. Our brains are incredibly efficient and powerful organs that are constantly active, even when we're not aware of it. Let's delve into the truth about this pervasive myth. The origin of the 10% brain myth is shrouded in mystery, but some historians trace it back to the late 19th or early 20th century. This period was a time of great curiosity and exploration in the field of psychology and neuroscience. People were eager to understand the complexities of the human mind, and many theories, both accurate and speculative, began to emerge. One possible source is the work of psychologist William James, who wrote about the untapped potential of the human mind. James was a pioneering figure in psychology, and his ideas about the latent capabilities of the brain were revolutionary for his time. He believed that humans had much more potential than they were currently using, but he never quantified this potential as a mere 10%. However, James never claimed we only use a small percentage of our brains. His writings were often misinterpreted or taken out of context, leading to the spread of this misconception. James's actual focus was on the broader idea of human potential and the possibilities for personal growth and development. Another possible contributor to the myth was the early research on brain injuries. During this time, scientists and doctors were beginning to understand the brain's functions and how different areas were responsible for different tasks. They observed that people could sometimes sustain damage to certain parts of their brains without experiencing significant impairments, which led to some erroneous conclusions. Scientists observed that people could sometimes sustain damage to certain parts of their brains without experiencing significant impairments. This observation was crucial in the early days of neuroscience, but it was often misinterpreted. The fact that some brain injuries did not result in noticeable deficits led to the mistaken belief that these undamaged areas were not being used at all. This led to the mistaken belief that these undamaged areas were not being used. In reality, the brain is a highly complex and interconnected organ, with different regions working together in ways that were not fully understood at the time. Modern neuroscience has since debunked this myth, showing that even areas of the brain that do not seem active are still crucial for overall brain function. The 10% brain myth has been perpetuated by popular culture, appearing in movies, TV shows, and books. This idea has been particularly appealing to storytellers and audiences alike because it suggests that we all have untapped potential just waiting to be unlocked. It's a narrative that resonates with our desire for self-improvement and the belief that we can achieve more if we only knew how to access this hidden power. It's a catchy idea that captures the imagination and plays on our desire for self-improvement. Over the years, countless self-help books and motivational speakers have capitalized on this myth, promising to teach people how to unlock the full potential of their brains. Despite the lack of scientific evidence supporting the 10% claim, it remains a popular and enduring concept in the public consciousness. However, it's essential to separate fact from fiction when it comes to understanding how our brains work. Modern neuroscience has made incredible strides in mapping the brain and understanding its functions. We now know that virtually every part of the brain has a known function, and even when we are at rest, our brains are still highly active. The 10% myth is just that, a myth. By embracing the true complexity and capability of our brains, we can better appreciate the incredible organ that powers our thoughts, actions, and experiences. Neuroscience has made remarkable strides in recent decades, providing us with a much clearer picture of how the brain functions. The advancements in technology and research methodologies have allowed scientists to delve deeper into the complexities of the human brain, uncovering fascinating insights that were once beyond our grasp. We now have overwhelming evidence to debunk the 10% brain myth. This long-standing misconception suggested that humans only use a small fraction of their brain's potential. However, modern neuroscience has shown that this is far from the truth. Scientists have proven that we use all parts of our brains even when performing simple tasks. Every action, thought, and emotion involves intricate networks of neurons firing across various regions of the brain, working in harmony to enable our daily functions. Studies using techniques like electroencephalography, EEG, and functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, show that our brains are constantly buzzing with activity. These advanced imaging techniques have revolutionized our understanding of brain function, allowing us to observe the brain in action with unprecedented detail. These technologies allow researchers to track brain activity in real time, revealing that even seemingly basic actions like talking or moving a finger engage multiple brain regions. This real-time tracking provides invaluable insights into the dynamic nature of brain activity and how different areas of the brain coordinate to perform even the simplest of tasks. Moreover, if we only use 10% of our brains, brain damage would be far less debilitating. The reality is that brain injuries can have profound and far-reaching effects, underscoring the importance of every part of the brain in maintaining our overall functionality and well-being. Every part of the brain serves a purpose, and damage to even small areas can have significant consequences. For instance, damage to the hippocampus can affect memory, while injury to the frontal lobes can impact decision-making and personality. The fact that strokes and other brain injuries can cause such profound impairments highlights the importance of all brain regions. Rehabilitation efforts for stroke patients often involve retraining the brain to compensate for damaged areas, further illustrating the brain's remarkable plasticity and its ability to adapt and reorganize itself in response to injury. Neuroimaging techniques like fMRI and EEG have revolutionized our understanding of the brain. These tools allow us to peer inside the skull and observe brain activity with incredible precision. fMRI, for example, detects changes in blood flow within the brain, which is a reliable indicator of neuronal activity. When a particular brain region is engaged in a task, it requires more oxygen and nutrients, leading to increased blood flow to that area. fMRI can detect these subtle changes, creating detailed images that show which brain regions are active during different activities. EEG, on the other hand, measures the electrical activity of the brain using electrodes placed on the scalp. While EEG doesn't provide the same level of spatial resolution as fMRI, it offers excellent temporal resolution, meaning it can track brain activity changes over milliseconds. This makes EEG particularly useful for studying brain states like sleep and consciousness. The human brain is an incredibly complex organ, responsible for a vast array of functions. It's divided into different regions, each specialized for specific tasks, working together in a highly coordinated manner. Let's explore some of the amazing things our brains do every day. The cerebrum, the largest part of the brain, is responsible for higher-level functions like thinking, learning, and language. It's divided into two hemispheres, each controlling the opposite side of the body. The cerebellum, located at the back of the brain, plays a crucial role in coordination, balance, and motor control. The brainstem, which connects the brain to the spinal cord, controls essential life functions like breathing, heart rate, and sleep-wake cycles. The hippocampus, deep within the brain, is involved in memory formation, while the amygdala plays a crucial role in processing emotions. While the 10% brain myth is false, it does highlight an important truth. We all have enormous potential for growth and learning. Our brains are incredibly adaptable organs, capable of changing and forming new connections throughout our lives, a concept known as neuroplasticity. Every time we learn something new, whether it's a new language, a musical instrument, or a new skill, we create new neural pathways in our brains. The more we challenge ourselves mentally, the stronger and more adaptable our brains become. So instead of focusing on the false notion that we only use a small fraction of our brains, let's embrace the incredible capabilities we possess. We can unlock our potential through continuous learning, exploration, and by embracing new challenges. The 10% brain myth serves as a reminder that we should always approach information with a critical eye, especially when it comes to something as complex and intricate as the human brain. This myth, which suggests that we only use a small fraction of our brain's potential, has been debunked by neuroscientists time and again. Yet it persists in popular culture, highlighting the importance of scientific literacy and the need to question the information we encounter. Myths and misconceptions often arise from a lack of understanding or a desire for simple explanations. In the case of the 10% brain myth, it may have originated from early neurological research or misinterpretations of scientific findings. People are naturally drawn to the idea that there is untapped potential within us, waiting to be unlocked. However, the reality is far more fascinating. Every part of the brain has a known function, and even the areas that don't seem active at a given moment are involved in complex networks that support our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The beauty of science lies in its ability to challenge assumptions and uncover the truth through observation, experimentation, and rigorous analysis. Scientists use a variety of methods, from brain imaging techniques like fMRI and PET scans to electrophysiological recordings, to study the brain's activity in real time. These tools allow researchers to map out the brain's intricate circuitry and understand how different regions communicate with each other. This ongoing research not only debunks myths, but also leads to groundbreaking discoveries that can improve our lives. As we continue to explore the inner workings of the brain, we're constantly making new discoveries that deepen our understanding of this remarkable organ. For instance, recent studies have shed light on neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This means that our brains are not static. They are dynamic and capable of adapting to new experiences, learning, and recovery from injury. So, the next time you hear someone mention the 10% brain myth, you can confidently share the truth. We use all of our brains, and they are constantly working hard to keep us alive, functioning, and experiencing the world around us. Each part of the brain, from the cerebral cortex to the brainstem, plays a crucial role in our daily lives. Understanding this can help us appreciate the complexity and wonder of our own minds. Embrace your curiosity, ask questions, and never stop learning about the wonders of the human brain. The quest for knowledge is a journey without end, and each discovery brings us closer to understanding the mysteries of our own existence. Whether you're a student, a scientist, or simply someone with a passion for learning, remember that the brain is a frontier of endless possibilities, waiting to be explored.